on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged match, and this is a review for Raw for 11/11/19. And I think I've got this figured out. It basically comes down to this: Raw and SmackDown are the death of wrestling. AEW and NXT are the rebirth of wrestling. So let's get into this Raw. It was pretty much god awful. Becky Lynch starts out the program. She cuts a promo. It's her and Charlotte Flair versus Asuka and Kairi Sane. The match itself was okay. It wasn't great. I wouldn't even say it was really good. Actually, the best part of this match was Kairi Sane, in my opinion. The ending didn't make a whole lot of sense. Shayna Baszler comes down. She stands on the ring apron. Becky Lynch is completely distracted, gets rolled up by Kairi Sane, gets pinned, and then just completely turns her attention to Shayna Baszler. Bayley comes out to try to attack Shayna and gets her ass handed to her. So this was just a cluster that, like I said, made no sense whatsoever. Then you get a backstage segment with the OC talking down to Humberto. Ricochet comes to his defense. For some reason, the OC are talking about Randy Orton. So he pops up and says, hey, why not make it a, six-man tag for the end of the night? So that's what happens. Then you get Drew McIntyre and Sin Cara. This is a complete squash match. Everything that Sin Cara tried to do during this match just got eliminated. Drew McIntyre made to look like an absolute beast. And I think it was either this day or the next day that Sin Cara asked for his release from the company, which so far has been denied. Then you get Rowan, cuts a weird promo. He's talking into the camera like he's talking to an animal or something that he's carrying around with him, as we see it here in a few minutes. Then you get a pointless in-ring segment that's supposed to be R-Truth versus the Singh brothers, but they just decide to take the belt and leave. R-Truth chases after them, and they walk into Rowan's locker room where he just decimates both Singh brothers. R-Truth kind of pops in for a second, says, you know what, I'll let you guys have your own space or whatever, and leaves. So, kind of weird, honestly. Then you get Seth Rollins. He's cutting a promo. He's talking about NXT and, everything they've been doing. Imperium shows up, all four members. Turns into a match versus Rollins and Walter, and as you would expect, Rollins starts getting the upper hand. Imperium comes in the ring, DQ, and then comes down Street Profits, and I think it was Kevin Owens. Pretty sure that was who it was. So that turns into a match with Imperium, all four members, versus Seth Rollins, Street Profits, and Kevin Owens. And this was a pretty decided victory for Raw. I think if you want to do this NXT invasion angle, 50-50 booking is not the way to go. Honestly, that's how I feel about it. I just feel like this was kind of a complete waste of time, and it was a long waste of time. Like, this was a very long segment. After that, you get Cedric Alexander takes on Andrade. Of course, he's got Zelina Vega with him. And this is exactly what you would expect. At some point, Zelina Vega grabs Cedric Alexander's leg. Andrade hits his finisher, and there you go. Same thing that's been happening for a while. Right after that, you get an Aleister Black promo. I was watching somebody else talking about this, and apparently Aleister Black's Pick a Fight promos started in like April, and it's now mid-November. Time to cut it loose, is my opinion. After that, you get one of the most cringeworthy segments ever in the history of WWE, and that's saying a lot. Lana comes out, and it's just Lana talking. Just her promo work. And they're determined to hang on to this storyline with Lana, Bobby Lashley, and Rusev. It's terrible. It's cringeworthy. If you've seen any of the undoctored footage of this promo, the crowd absolutely booed Lana, like, just out of the building. Like, they weren't having it. They didn't want to hear it. They were chanting, Rusev Day, shut the fuck up. Boring. everything that they could to send a message that this whole skit is just garbage. Eventually, she says that she's pregnant, and through the timetable, it would be Rusev's baby. Rusev comes down. Bobby Lashley jumps him. It was a setup. She's not pregnant. It was all garbage. All just garbage. After that, it was Rowan versus Sonner Durson. I don't know who that is. I guess it's some local guy. Obviously, it was a squash match. Another one. So that makes, what, 2 or 3 now? Yeah, just bad. Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster versus Viking Raiders next. This is your 3rd or 4th squash match of the night. You did have, well, it wasn't a complete squash match. Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster got some offense at the beginning, but then Viking Raiders took over and just demolished them. So, again, these are guys from NXT fighting guys from Raw. This is the 50-50 booking I'm talking about. Now you're just making NXT look weak. None of this show made sense. Like, none of it. Randy Orton and Ricochet bit. This is another thing that was just confusion. You don't know what's going on with Ricochet and Randy Orton. Ricochet is still apprehensive about Randy Orton because it's Randy Orton. And Randy is kind of playing mind games with Ricochet. But they have the match with Humberto Carrillo versus the OC. And there was a lot of dissension between Randy Orton and Ricochet. But at the end of the day, Randy Orton hits the RKO on AJ Styles. Humberto does like a top rope. I think he did like a moonsault or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. But at any rate, they get the win. And then Randy Orton goes up to Ricochet and just remember I do what I want, when I want, to who I want. And again, it just doesn't follow a train of thought. Like, there's no coherent storyline there. So it's just really weird. So, kind of an awkward first match. At least 3 squash matches, if not 4. A very long match that was decent, but kind of a waste of time. And then just some weird, awkward stuff at the end. So, I mean, this was just a bad Raw overall. It wasn't just the one segment. Like, everybody's been talking about that one segment with Lana because it was so disastrous. But this whole show was just like, why? Like, what are you guys thinking? And I don't know what they're thinking. I'm certainly not in the heads of anybody in charge of WWE. And creative has been baffling for the last decade. So, at the end of the day, I mean, I'll give it a 1 out of 10. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve anything. And of course, I did not watch this on the USA Network. I watched it on YouTube. Because I've said, as long as they continue to put this crap on their TV, I'm not going to watch it. And that's how it goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, 1 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz. Kaged Nation, out.